the security situation in the country as bandits, terrorists make gains. You get to see some communities where farmers had to, pay toll fees to terrorists for them to gain access to their farms. And you saw that headlines that they're planning to have a base in those two states. It's been a case of fighting, case of repelling, case of also attacks here and there around the country. Some are saying, what in the world is really going on? Well, with me here in the studio to talk about this, I have Honorable Paul Ogido, IEC, right? Welcome, Honorable Paul. I appreciate your coming. Thank you so much for coming.
Good morning, Mr. Wilson.
All right, and of course I have Onajomo Iyeyomo. Thank you so much for coming. During the time of Ramadan, we're just spiritually inclined. We also don't want to appear. I want to focus on my spirituality. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, good morning, distinguished viewers. It's a privilege being with you, and greetings to you all.
All right, and of course we have Obakbolo, all right, Austin, isn't it? Charles, thank you, Charles. Obakbolo, thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of This Morning on ITV.
Yeah, good morning, my viewers, my presenter, Mr. Wilson.
All right. Join us virtually all the way from the US. I have Ahmed Mamadou. Mamadou, thank you so much for making our time to join us this morning.
Greetings, Wilson. Greetings, gentlemen, and I wish you all happy Palm Sunday.
All right.
And to you guys as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Mamadou. And joining us all the way from Onwa is Honorable Fred. Honorable Fred, thank you so much for taking our time to join us this Sunday morning.
Good morning, ITV. Good morning, Nigerians, and happy Palm Sunday to everyone in Nigeria.
All right, yes, happy Palm Sunday to everyone in Nigeria. But in the midst of the Ramadan fast and now the Lenten season, Nigeria has been shaken one way or the other because of the happenings in terms of security. You get to hear the military saying they're making some gains, they've dislodged terrorists, they've killed some. You can use the word neutralize some on one hand. On the other hand, you get to hear terrorists attacking military formation, terrorists sacking villages, communities paying toll fees, so to speak, for them to gain access to their farm. Because the latest right now is one in play too, Benue. Don't forget also what happened in Edo State because of, the agitation of the people. They don't know who to trust anymore. Even right now, they say they saw some hunters in court right now with guns again in Urumi. For what is really happening, security situation. Let me start off with Honorable Paul. What do you feel about all this?
Well, it's a pity that we find ourselves where we are. The issue of insecurity is like a household name now. Everybody is scared, everybody is afraid, you can't travel anymore. And I think, and I believe strongly, that there is no true political will to tackle insecurity. If the will is there will always be a way to tackle this insecurity. It's so appalling. We have heard, it's no news, that a lot of people are making gains. A lot of gains from what is going on right now.
Yeah.
We hear voluminous budgets for insecurity, to tackle insecurity. We don't know where those monies are going through or where it's going to. Equipments are procured, arms are procured to fight insecurity. We don't know what is happening. You cannot tell me gains are being made when maybe 3 or 4 kidnappers are being killed by the police, and a lot of noises on television here and there that they are trying their best, they are doing this, they are doing that. Nothing is happening if you ask me. The people of Urumi, and indeed a lot of communities in Edo State, no longer go to bed with their 2 eyes closed. It is so through the length and breadth of this nation. And those who are charged with the responsibility of, keeping us safe, They are having a field day. They are enjoying their lives. They don't go on the road. You have to go to church to pray before you can embark on a journey of just maybe 50 or 100 kilometers. Even in your own home, you are not safe. And yet we have people that are supposed to take care of the lives and the properties of Nigerians. They said it's the sole responsibility, the first responsibility of government is to protect lives and property. And lives and property is being protected. People are jostling for 2027 now. They've not been able to solve any issue. Nothing has been done. Yet they are fighting to come back again in 2027. It's a pity that we find ourselves here. And there is no way so far. Whatever we have right now on ground points to the fact that we are not yet ready to even start to tackle insecurity. It's the basic truth.
All right. All right. I'll come back to you a little bit, Paul. Well, what do you feel about his own reaction to the security situation we are facing in this country? I'm not saying all of a sudden there's this surge, so to speak, in insecurity in recent times.
And let's be honest, the insecurity situation is a multi-dimensional situation. Especially, you have to look at it from different angles, whether you're talking about economy, religion, education, and the rest of them. Our society is a reflection of the people that has been managing it, and that's why we are where we are today, and that's why the people keep suffering. Look everywhere, you understand. You see the high level of poverty. Poverty is smelling, you understand. What are our leaders doing? Do they really care about the people? It's very shameful and very painful that people saddle with the responsibility of managing our security, managing our security has gotten to where we are today, you understand? But I cannot say all hope is lost, because whether you like it or not, the security in one way or the other, whether you're talking about the police, the army, and they're trying their best, and they could do whatever they have, and that's why we are here today. The most important thing is the economic security. Whether you like it or not, economy is one of the major aspects of any government. And if people can no longer feed, people can no longer run their business, and you see the high level of retrenchment in this multinational organization, that tells you our economy is not developing. Our economy keeps depreciating every day. It's not appreciating. Because, and one thing the government needs to do, they have to look at their policy, whether you're talking about fiscal policy or you're talking about monetary policy. These are all issues the government must take into consideration. The minister will only tell the president what the president wants to hear, but is that the reality on ground? You see the high level of poverty, people are suffering. You just see the last protest that happened few months back. You see the high level of hunger, you see the high level of agitation, and you see the police brutality, and you see the army repression against his own people. And I think it's done on our people, on our leaders, to do the right thing. Because what is the responsibility of any democratic government? One, protection of life and property, and provision of citizenry welfare. Our leaders we have everything. We have everything to grow as a nation. We have everything to grow as a continent. But where we find ourselves today, especially African continent, is with the abundance we have, we are one of the poorest continents because of wrong management, poor management, and you see one arms of government trying to hijack the other arms of government, which cannot go well for a constitutional democracy, and it's painful where we are today.
I'll come back to you. You said the security is a multifaceted, so to speak, or multidimensional. Talk about the economy, talk about policies and the rest of the world. Charles, what did you say about this?
Yeah, I should just add a point to this insecurity issue. We have been fighting this insecurity issue for a very long time. More than 3 governors have come, they have not been able to solve the problem. But all the same, we should just talk direct and make sure we add more solution to it, because we won't blame the police, we won't blame the enforcer. They are all trying, the police are trying, the soldiers, whoever that is protecting the security issue, they are all trying. But on a nutshell, we should not forget about this insecurity matter that everybody today is bearing problem. Go to everywhere now, like as I was just coming just now, look at Okun Junction there. We are talking about insecurity, talking about Boko Haram, talking about this. What are we going to blame? The youth, they are not doing anything to consign to their own solution because the last government, they tried to institute vigilante. Even that during their era of that vigilante, we were still facing some problem concerning their cultists killing and other. But since this governor came in, since he has been the governor for these few months ago, we have not been seeing all kind of our youth killing themselves. But the security, more problem. Look at what happened in Uromi. Such thing is not supposed to happen. If really they are empowering the youth, they are empowering the community people. Like before I grew to this stage, then we used to call them community or akode, a vigilante, not even vigilante them, but then there is a name that many people will call them or two. So we have to restore those kind of community efforts because police can't do it all.
Okay. All right, let's move straight down to Honorable Fred is standing by. Honorable Fred, I believe that your community also is in sped because we're talking about it, both directly and indirectly, about what you guys are facing as a community. So, what do you have to say about this security situation? Because it's of the opinion that the terrorists, the bandits, seems to be gaining ground.
Yeah, thank you so much, my respected comrades in the house. I want to say that it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in where we are today. The truth of the matter is that here in Onwa, where I am, I think the farmers have suffered what I call criminal disaster. Why I call it criminal disaster, you know, what we always try to look up to is when we have natural disaster, rainstorm, floods, and all the rest. But what we have now in my community in Onwa, especially Era in particular, is criminal disaster. I can assure you that half of the population have been driven away. And the killer herdsmen are already telling them that they have to pay ransom. I mean, they have to pay fee before they can make their farms. And all the farm produce has been eaten up. Imagine somebody 16 hectares of cassava. Yesterday, I will send you the video. 15 hectares of cassava. The Fulani herders came to the farm, sat there, slept there, make sure that they finish all their the cassava by uprooting it and give it to their what's it called, cow.
All right, Honorable, I don't want us to really ascribe this to a particular tribe, okay? I don't want to ascribe this to a particular tribe because I use the term killers, headsmen, because we have some nice Fulani personality. Maybe later I'm going to explain that, okay? You can say some killer headsmen. I think let's go with that. I don't want us to profile any tribe. Please continue.
Okay, thank you so much, my brother. The truth of the matter is that the one we have seen and the one that we have seen are actually the one rearing cattle, Fulani rearing cattle. I'm not sure they have people killed, no, but they have killed the crops. They have killed the crops of the farmers. And once you kill the livelihood of the farmer, you actually kill the farmer. What we are saying, we are not very much to say we are not involved in any kind of mechanism. The truth of the matter is that I am telling you authoritatively right now, if ITV carry his camera to Era, they will see them. Since the leader of the vigilante died, it's like that has been a block that has been blocking them. Since they killed him, they have taken their cattle even to the king's doorstep. I mean, the village head doorstep, and start to graze there. But that's by the way. Solution is what we have to talk about. The solution. First and
If we
foremost,
talk
the
about the
solution
solution,
to
hold on. It's a step by step. If we talk about the solution, that'll be towards the end of the discussion, okay? Definitely questions will be asked in regards to that, all right? Let's move straight down to US where Ahmed Mamodo is standing. But I believe that your people are in Nigeria and of course they're giving you feedback on the security situation. From what you've heard, how did you really get that? Does it mean that the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is really losing it when you talk about providing security for Nigerians?
So greetings again, Wilson, and thank you for inviting me to air my views on this topic. As always, it's a pleasure. So the security situation in Nigeria is a multidimensional problem that is not quite as easy to either interrogate or describe without understanding some of the underlying factors. First of all, let us understand that there's a large landmass and an inadequate security force that is supposed to be protecting or looking after that landmass. Now, one of the problems that we've had over time is the encroachment on sovereign territories by all these bandits and insurgents and rebels, so to speak. Now, what had happened is essentially, particularly in the Northeast, they were concentrated in an area. The administration of former President Buhari managed to dislodge them, and then they splintered. That splinter is what we are now suffering from. What had happened is where you had one snake, now you have several snakes. So the heads of those snakes splintered and then they moved into different parts of the country. And it is the agitation from different parts that we are witnessing. So now having splintered, it makes it even more difficult because we are talking about asymmetrical warfare. What that means is it's not a conventional war where you know who the enemy is. You can't say this person is the enemy because he's wearing a different sort of uniform. What happens in this kind of situation is the combatants ingrate themselves into the local population and then they begin to terrorize from within. Sometimes with the assistance of local people, sometimes because they are familiar with the area, and sometimes because those areas are uninhabited. Now, this is where the problem comes. After securing most of the the land masses that were taken over by insurgents, it is normal for the police to come back in and now establish the peace settlement. The military is not supposed to do that. Their own responsibility is to come and fight either terrorists within or outside of the territory and then claim it back. Then the police is supposed to come and settle in. We are so under-policed that we do not even have enough policemen to guard the urban areas, not to talk about rural areas, and then undefined, unguarded areas that are on the fringes of the country. So this is the challenge, to sit down and either blame the central government or the state government or some individuals. It's not really getting to the root of the matter. We are seriously under-policed, we are seriously undermanned, and we have a large landmass to cover. Just for illustration, just for the simple illustration, we keep on talking about Boko Haram in Zambisa forest. It would surprise you to know that Zambisa forest is bigger than Paris. Zambisa, if you put Paris in Zambisa forest, it will swallow it. That is how big of a place it is. I know it might be difficult to understand if we're talking about Paris, but let's use Lagos State, for example. You will find it will be able to consume 2 or 3 of Lagos State, just that forest landmass. And then you talk about how do you guard it, how do you secure it, how do you retain the security over it. So it's not something we should be casting blames. We should be talking about the solutions. We should be talking to each other and finding out how we can better channel our resources to secure the lives and property of Nigerians.
All right. Thank you so much, Amamodu, giving your own explanation, saying that we have large land mass, the fringes of the country, the interior, the hinterlands, you just name it, we are under policed and all that. Now let's take a look at the comment made by, accredited rather, to the director of the DSS, and everyone should look for how to defend themselves. Maybe the Urumi incident, they took it too far. But what do you feel about that concept of each community defending itself against invaders, Honorable Paul?
Well, that's a very beautiful word and very powerful. To say defend yourself. Of course, a man that is being put under attack have every right to defend himself. But as powerful as those words, I see it laden with deceit. I don't know how a man that barely have a cutlass, barely permitted to have a cutlass, will defend himself against a man carrying Pompey or AK-47 rifle. We have seen instances in this country still going on where those who are being oppressed, those who are being maimed and killed, are being disarmed, whereas the oppressors, the killers, are allowed to carry arms and ammunition. I'll give you a typical example. I went to check something not far away from my house. I put a cutlass in my car. The day after I was going to travel, I didn't remember to remove the cutlass from my car. So I traveled. On the journey, I got to a police checkpoint. I was stopped by the policeman. And he wanted to see my boot. And I gladly opened it because there is nothing incriminating. Only for him to discover that there is a cutlass in my car, and he said, "Oga, what are you doing with the cutlass on a journey?" Yes, it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like a joke. Let me tell you, it took me more than 10 minutes to defend myself for carrying a cutlass. Not a knife, not a penknife, not a dagger. But we have a class of people in this same country, Nigeria, that brandish their arms and ammunition everywhere. They pass through those checkpoints and nobody asks them any question. Of course, they don't belong to the police, they are not in the military, they are not in any of those uniforms, but they are allowed to carry this without problem. Whereas even the hunter in the village, we have to go and hide his gun so that police will not catch him. What are we talking about? What provisions are made? What are those things put on ground for the poor citizens that is being killed every day in this country to be able to defend themselves? Yes. If you are coming to me and you know that I have the wherewithal to match you action for action, you will have to think twice. But in Nigeria, it's not like that. We have found a situation where people, you just go to a man's house, you ask him to lie down, you do whatever you want to do, you have a field day, criminals spend hours in some locations doing what they know how to do best without any altercation from anywhere. It's because the government, I don't want to say they don't know what they are doing. They know what they ought to do, but they decided not to do it for whatever reason that they know themselves. So if the DSS boss say, let every community, let every man defend himself, that's a beautiful one. But equip these people, give them liberty to also have those things with which they can actually protect and defend themselves.
All right. Okay, let me come to you talking about self-defense. Once upon a time, during the time of President Muhammadu Buhari, yes, it was a clash of some sort where some community chose to come out so strong to start fighting back. It happened in Benue. All of a sudden, the police were given the mandate to go disarm them, so you're not allowed to carry weapons. You're not allowed to have even a damn gun in your house. Do you think that is counterproductive if you want to go by what the DSS said? They don't think that the police, so to speak, are put in charge of granting licenses to allow Nigerians at least have one or two in their house with their own protection.
And to be frank and to be honest, self-defense is not really bad, you understand, but you must act within the provisions of the Constitution, because the Constitution is the grand norm. And that simply tells you where we are today as a nation. If the DSS is coming out to tell ordinary citizens to start defending themselves, that tells you government has failed its responsibility to protect the lives of the citizenry, and that tells you where we are, you understand? What we need to do, we need to calibrate our institution, whether you're talking about the security or whether you're talking about the economic and the rest of them, because this issue of criminality, and it also relates back to the economy, because if you look at the economy and you just oppose it, you can't really tell. And as we are today now.
But some are saying it's not about the economy. Some are saying it's about annihilation. Some are saying it's about genocide.
But you can't rule out criminality from the economy too. You understand? Because people kidnap from ransom. So what will you call that? If you're kidnapping someone and the person is paying huge amount of money, that boils down to transaction, and that boils down to economy, and you can't rule out that. Though we know we have the religion aspect, you cannot rule out the religion aspect and the rest of that. But what I'm simply saying here is that the institutions saddled with the responsibility of managing our country has not done what they are supposed to do. Yes, they're trying their best, but they have to do more, because where we are today is not a desirable position. People are dying, people are hungry, you understand, people are finding it difficult to run their business. And whenever the level of poverty continues to increase, automatically crime will increase. Because whether you like it or not, people have to resort maybe in a legal way or illegal way to survive. And that boils down back to the economy. So our leaders have to do the right thing. Our leaders, they have to be honest in managing our resources. Where we are today is not where we are supposed to be, because we have a lot of resources. We have abundance, you understand. If we manage our resources to the developmental good of our people, you see this crime automatically going to reduce. Because whether you like it or not, you cannot rule out religion, you cannot rule out education, you cannot rule out the economy. And one thing our leaders have failed to do is also invest in education, because education it's one of the sectors that can move us into industrialization. It's one of the sectors that can reduce the poverty we are having today. You understand? Because if our people are educated, if our people are trained, you understand, they could fend for themselves. They could see the reason why they need to contribute their own quota to the society. But what are we seeing today? You understand? The people are suffering and the people are dying, and our leaders, you see the kind of life our leaders are living. You see one VIP, like 10 policemen or 15 policemen will be guiding him for what?
Okay.
That tells you where we are, you know. Our leaders have to come back to the people. Because you're here to lead, you're here to show, you have to lead by example, you have to show empathy, you have to show compassion to the people.
Okay.
Our leaders need to do that, but they are not doing that.
All right, so talking about this, of individuals around communities, giving them that kind of an exposure, negative exposure to attacks. Somebody say we cannot fight back with spoons, we cannot fight back with knives, we need to hit this guy's head on. Government should give us permission to have our arms, and the DSS director just reiterated it, defend yourself. How can it be done without that?
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. I should also appreciate that DSS man to even give us that goal to say we should go and defend ourselves. I will appreciate him for that. That is just like what the father can do and say, go and do it by yourself. On a nutshell, we have been facing on this problem for a very long time. And now they are trying to solve it as if maybe they are fed up, we should go and do it by ourselves. Doing it by ourselves is still the same problem that we are facing. This same problem does not concern anybody. This matter is supposed to be on the community communal effort that's been existing even 40 years ago, even 25 years ago. But because of this, their criminal attitude, because of their leadership that they want to astray and frustrate a lot of people. Not that, yes, if you are opportunity to be the governor, be the senator, you do your best, but not doing it to supersede or oppress on people. Even with all the privilege that they are having, there is no quota of development that they are bringing out to even do anything to their community. So I will appreciate the former governor and even this same governor that is right now. We don't need to be talking about solution. Let's go back to our own calendar. Let's go back to community effort. Like as I was just coming yesterday, I saw go to Sapele Road, go to places like that. You see a lot of, I won't call them aboki, you see a lot of people trying to hustle to work. We won't call them Hausa people because since I was born, I've not seen any Hausa man. They will say Hausa man doing shoemaker. No, they are not the people doing the same shoemaker. So all those same people that is in Okun, as I was just coming just now, are we going to call them Boko Haram? We don't need to call them Boko Haram because these same people are hard to fight for their hand to man. They want to eat. You see them with different kind of cutlass and they want to use it to work. Can we not say all these people are Boko Haram? Can we not say these same people are still trying to cause more hindrance to our community? So with our community efforts, we should go back and beg the leaders. Let the leaders try to empower the Odion way, the community leaders. Even when we are calling the Okagili now or the youth chairman, many of them are still misconduct people because they are using their power to fight against themselves. So we should revive this issue as a nursing issue that both you, me, the upcoming children, we should nurse their mind to deviate them from violence. Everybody is arrogant. Nobody is pure. You see this one is lying just to make sure he take afternoon food. Just afternoon food, not for the 3 days food. So please, we seek the audience. If government can still also assist us, we are not telling government to come and buy gun. Let them empower this same vigilante that they just recently tried to bring back. Let them empower them. We still also know that this same vigilante, they were empowered, they were carrying gun everywhere, but because of that same selfish interest in them, because criminals are everywhere. The same matter is still happening to the police. The police are trying to do everything, but they are still criminal inside the police. So you see the truth is so far away. The truth is so far that everywhere is lying. Everybody is, I don't really know what to say. Everybody, let me just say everybody is arrogant. We cannot complain about even to my traditional constitution. Everywhere you see some chief, they are not doing cordially to the message that the palace send them. They will do this, they will do that, in respect of make the seafood chop. Can we continue like this? We cannot continue like this. So I will just add this point that God Almighty should intervene.
Going back to divinity. All right. I'll come back to you, Charles. I'll come back to you. It's like the man is already tired because the police, we have some bad eggs there. The military, we have some bad eggs there. International institution, we have some bad eggs there. Even among the Okaigilis, we have some bad eggs there. So how are we going to get out of this? Anyway, in the East, a lot of money was earmarked to purchase guns. I mean, the governors went all out to purchase guns to arm the security outfits. In the West, Amoteko, you know the story so well. They went out there to buy good guns for this call to do their job of securing lives and property in that particular region. Even in the North also, though they are fighting back, the governor also, empowered the JTF, both civilians, everybody, come on, get this, learn how to operate these weapons, learn how to, safeguard yourself. Honorable Fred, do you think the same should be done in Edo State? Get these vigilantes up and running, give them enough guns in the hinterlands, and then go out there well-trained to secure the environment that they belong to.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my comrade. I think the solution to this problem is actually for every community to have guns, ammunition, arms and ammunition within themselves. Because as it is in the United States, a United States citizen defends himself against every invasion. When he feels insecure, he will shoot you. And by the time you know that the community are armed, you will not go there. But let me go a little back to what the DSS boss have said. Recall that in the recent time, somebody who defended himself, who disarmed a Fulani killer herdsman, was sentenced to death. Now, that contradicts what the DSS man have just advised. Yes, it's a good advice. That is the best advice that in this situation, in this war situation, I call it war situation, but because it has not happened to some families, it has not happened, they don't know that we're actually in a war situation in Nigeria. Now, how do you defend yourself knowing the repercussion that when you defend yourself and able to actually kill your enemy or kill your attacker, that the Supreme Court is waiting for you to be sentenced to death? But how be, let me just say that that shouldn't deter us. What I advise the government to do right now, they should declare a state of emergency, and in a war situation like this, that everybody should be empowered to carry whether light weapons or long weapons, as long as every home has a weapon. The invaders, the killer herdsmen or the bandits should be able to be afraid that when they go to certain community, they are going to be repelled. Let me give you a scenario.
All right.
Just
So,
match
but if you keep saying war situation hasn't got into that, we've not got into that yet. Don't we have this infraction? We have this incursion, but we will not call it war. We can call it, the fight against insecurity or banditry.
Wait. People that have died in Ukraine, they are not up to the numbers of people that have died in Nigeria. In a war that you are saying not a war, Nigeria is at war.
Well,
And
you
this
cannot say
guerrilla
that Nigeria
warfare
is at war. We are fighting insurgency. We are fighting insecurity.
Yes, okay, let me put it right. Nigeria is at war with insurgents. And the president of this country should develop a new approach, because with what we have the resources. We have the resources to deploy. We have the right personnel. Now, the problem is that we don't know why we still have all these issues. Let me tell you, my community, those the person, the head of vigilante that was killed last year, till now, no arrest was made. Nobody was arrested. The second person that died of blessed memory, Victor Ogedegbe, no arrest has been made. No investigation has been made. So, and you say we want to fight these people? How? I'm exposing this so that the country, the president, the governor should know where we are. That no matter what we want to do, if there is no genuity in our fight against these people, it means that whatever, even if you deploy $1 trillion into buying arms and ammunition and for security, we will end up nowhere. My advice to the community themselves is that they should heed with the advice of the DSS man, the DSS headsman. Look, they should defend themselves, even if with a spoon, because in the time of necessity, you use what you have to defend yourself. Even if a spoon you have, use it to defend yourself, because the way we are now, look, my community, area community, half of the population have left the place because of the threat from these bandits. I call them bandits and terrorists because they are threatening our community. And this is war. My community is at war. That is the problem. And they are running away because they don't have weapons to fight the war. If you get to my community now, you cannot even say up to 100 people. People have left their farm. They have abandoned their farm. There will be hunger by this time next year. There will be hunger. You understand? So this is the problem. We are in a war situation. Okay, it's urgency war. We are in it, and it's worse more than the normal war that you see bullets fly all around. Because these people, they operate in a guerrilla form. In a guerrilla form, you don't know where they are hiding. Like they killed Peter, but they were hiding, and that's how they have killed so many people. They have indirectly killed all the farmers in Nigeria by consuming the livelihood of the farmers. So my advice to Mr. President is that whether he's going to set up a new tax scheme, the NSA should get involved, and stay on the round table. Let us define what can secure this country. Let us leave out all these policies that have been formed so far. They have not yielded any result. To me, those policies so far, they have failed because the people to implement it have not done anything. Look at Uromi killings. We are now aware it has become hunters. Those guys have now been branded hunters. I don't know the day that Fulani has. What are they hunting? Are they hunting Nama? We
All
know
right.
their job. Their job is
Okay,
actually
thank you.
to rear their
Thank
cattle.
you.
And they have been rearing their
Thank
cattle.
you,
peacefully.
thank you. Just
They are
calm
not
down.
saying
Honorable Fred, calm down, calm down. I'll get back to you. I will get back to you, Honorable Fred. I know how you feel, but you have to watch your emotion. You're on national TV. You have to watch your emotion. When you heard him, he said we are at a war, insurgency, war against insurgency, because from what he said, half of his community, they've evacuated because of the fear of their life, saying that these persons or these killer headsmen, they just use guerrilla tactics to start, neutralizing some persons in our community. Remember, look, we have some good Fulani headsmen. They will help you protect your farm. They prevent their cattle from entering your farm. All right, we have some real good ones. Then the evil ones are the ones that will directly, indirectly march into your farmland, destroy everything, even attack you. Now that is the ones we are talking about. Those are the ones that we are talking about. I said this before. If anyone was wondering what transpired in his farm one day, he was just there. He has a big from cassava farm. He was there and he saw a Fulani guy, doing his own thing, carrying his own cow, grazing, even preventing the cattle from entering his farm. He was so pleased. All of a sudden, this Fulani saw another batch coming. He ran with his cow. It's a becoming friend of mine to run. That means there are different types. For this Fulani guy that is just doing his own thing, grazing, feeding his own cows, to tell the farmer to run because he too is running from this set, something is wrong somewhere. So you see, it is not all of them that are bad. We have the good of the here to do business, to feed their families, to take care of the livestock. They will protect your farm. They can come to you, please give us water. They tell their cows, don't go into this man's farm. They protect, but these other ones, I don't know where they came from. So Mr. President was saying that, look, these are not Nigerian Fulanis, they're from elsewhere. So now let me get straight down to the U.S. where America is standing by. You talked about the landmass being too great. If you come to Edo State, the militaries are complaining that those states have not filled their quota when you talk about recruitment into the military. Now, with all this going on, how can one really have a formidable force that can really safeguard the country? Some are saying they don't trust the military formation. Some are saying they don't trust the police formation because they believe that they are informants of these terrorists, even amongst our security agencies. What do you have to say about that, Ahmed?
That's a very interesting observation that you made, Wilson. So let me quickly jump on some of the things that Mr. Fred said before I come back to answer your question. It's very important that we keep the narrative as simple as possible. And why I'm saying this is this. I think it is highly irresponsible for someone as high as the director of the DSS to come out and tell Nigerians that they should defend themselves without telling them what manner they should use to defend themselves. I have to remind everybody at this point that it's illegal. It is illegal to be caught with firearms if you are not licensed, if you are not registered. Not even all our security agencies are licensed to or allowed to carry firearms. For example, road safety are not allowed to carry firearms. If you are a road safety officer and you are seen with a weapon, you are doing something that is illegal. So I think it is highly irresponsible for the DSS boss to come out and say, defend yourselves, and not come out brazenly, clearly and say, this is the manner in which you are legally allowed to defend yourself. One of our co-panelists there even gave an example where somebody defended himself and the issue was taken to the Supreme Court and he's now fighting for his life. So you see, we have abdication of duty at the highest levels of government. Now, to go into what you are saying, what you've said, Wilson, you made the point that I said we are simply undermanned, and look at the armed forces are even coming to look for people to come and fight their battles for them. They came into Edo and said, look, the quota that has been allocated to your people has not been met. XYZ other states have met and even exceeded their own quotas, and you guys are falling behind. What is responsible for this? Is it the recruitment process? Is it lack of information to the people? Because in any part of the world, the military is a prestigious job where you are assured of at least a tenure, you are assured of a pension at the end of it, posting, you are assured of fixed income, you are assured of accommodation, etc., etc. So the question should be asked, why are our people reluctant to go in? Now you put up a Pandora's box. We have informants within the system. It cannot be ruled out because the sentiments that our people take into government is always a problem, is always a hindrance. Somebody will come in and say, oh, the Northerners are more, the Southerners are this, the Christians are XYZ, the Muslims. All of these are problems that we need to sit down and address. But let me say this because this is very important as a segue to what the DSS director said. We need to call our representatives to a roundtable and tell them, look, in the face of all of these threats to life and property, it has been suggested that we defend ourselves. Laws need to be made so that we can empower ourselves legally and we will know that we're on the right side of the law. In the event that we need to defend ourselves, how do we go about it? I know it is legal for you to carry a weapon that is only self-propelled. That means, for example, a double-barrel gun. You cock it and then you fire. But automatic weapons are strictly banned. You cannot carry an AK-47, say you are defending yourself, and you will go scot-free. So these are conversations that we need to have. We need to talk to our representatives, House of Reps, senators, and say, look, make the enabling laws that will allow us to defend ourselves, allow us as communities to come together and take care of our own security, set up vigilante groups and the policing, etc., etc. It's a long journey, but it has to begin somewhere. But I need to come back to this DSS man and say, come out and tell the people how they can defend themselves within the ambit of the law, because you cannot break the law to try and keep yourself secure. That is a dangerous path to play.
Thank you so much, Ahmed Mamadou. Well, you know, it's all about security challenges. It's all about fighting insecurity. It's all about protecting our territorial integrity. It's all about making us strong as a nation. Once again, we're now at the end of this discussion segment talking about state of the nation, security situation as terrorists and bandits are gaining ground. Some are saying we should use a Donald Trump approach. Yes, profile everyone. As I was saying, this way the immigration will come in. You have to go. People without Nigerian passport, please leave the shores of the country. Some suggested that if we can do this effectively and efficiently, we have lesser problems. Some are blaming it on the former administration for opening the borders for this set of persons to come in. They're saying he is the one that was responsible for what we are going through today. But what do you feel about all these solutions right now? Honorable Paul, what should we do?
We are far from the solution, my brother. I want to be very blunt and straight to the point here. We are very far from the solution. Two things have brought us here. And unless those two things are tackled head on, we are not going anywhere. First, inequality. Inequality in every aspect. Inequality before the law. The Constitution, which is the grand norm, that we are all supposed to be subjected to. The political class does not know whether the Constitution is there. We can see that in everything that is happening, even in this very administration, especially in this administration, where the head does not care about what the Constitution says. The president has so much powers that by his actions, he can set the Constitution aside. Once he says it, if you like, let the whole world say the Constitution does not say so. As far as the president has said it, it goes, and nobody can do anything about that. A country that functions in that manner will always find itself in this kind of quagmire situation. Again, Injustice. Where somebody will just punch you in your face, blood will gush out and say, go to court. In fact, call the police.
They're waiting for you.
That is what we see every day on our streets. They will do it as long as he's in power or he has a lot of money, has amassed wealth. He does anything and say he will be the one to recommend, go to the police or please call your lawyer to sue me. Why is that? In a sane society, when you wrong a person and he says, I'm going to the police or I'm going to court, you go ahead and start begging. Why do they say go to court or call the police? Because they know there's no justice. Justice is at their beck and call because they have the money. You purchase it. Today, every judgment can be procured by those in power, by those who have financial power or political power. If we are all under the law, starting from the president to the last man in this country, you will see everything will just rearrange itself.
So you're saying equity right now.
Equity and justice,
All right,
very important.
Thank you.
That is the only way we can move forward. Otherwise, we will remain where we are.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Well, what do you feel about this solution? Your last line. He said equity and justice. No matter the tribe, no matter the religion, if you misbehave the side of the law, you will go down for it. So, briefly.
Yeah, to be fair and to be honest, the issue of insecurity, it's really a big problem, but whether you like it or not, we are part of the problem. Our leaders, the followers, everybody is part of the problem, you understand? If you're talking about the constitutionalization of this republic and you're looking at different aspects, you'll be shocked and you see the level, you understand what is going on today, and it's very painful, especially when it comes to election and stuff, and body saddled with the responsibility of conducting election, because whether you like it or not, fairness must be seen in whatever we are doing, you understand, because insecurity can come from different places. If the constitutional provision says X, Y, and Y, Z, Mr. President, you don't have power to do so, because whether you like it or not, it's the Constitution. The Constitution guards the functionality of this republic, you understand? And this Constitution is the supreme. But our leaders violate the Constitution and they'll tell you go to court. And the judiciary now, what can we say about the judiciary? Is the judiciary the last hope of the common man? Look at the kind of judgment they give. Judges and lawyers that are supposed to be the custodians of the Constitution are not the one desecrating the Constitution. It's really painful that this is happening. I know you're talking about constitutional democracy. If institutions that are supposed to strengthen this democracy, that are supposed to strengthen the institution we have, you can't really, you don't really know what to say.
So you're talking about fairness right now.
Yes, there must be fairness, and the different arms of government must live up to the responsibility, whether the executive arm of government, whether the legislative arm of government, whether the judicial arm of government, they must live up to their responsibility.
Thank you.
Because you have the principles of separation of powers.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Charles. What do you have to say about this? Concluding this matter.
Yeah, thank you. I will still also add just little. You look at what that man said, that DSS. He said we should go and solve our solution by ourselves.
You see, hammering on that point.
Yes,
very
he
important.
said we should go and solve our solution by ourselves. So he's not just saying that to himself. He might say that message to everybody in the country. But we in Benin City or Edo State, I will just add this point that the governor should please coaliate with the Oba of Benin, the Benin monarch, and also empower these same vigilante. If they are going to recruit thousands of them, let them take them all to the Benin monarch and swear the ancestors that they are not going to empower you people to take over every community to solve this insecurity problem. As they are giving you these tools.
So they should involve the ancestors now.
The ancestors is the one that will fight this matter.
But there's no constitution.
That is why they will take
that.
that is why if the governor is empowering all these same people, they will pack them, whether they are 100,000 people, let them pack them all to the palace. Palace will accommodate even 1 million people, so that the Umogun will not use that same ancestors' power, the autonomous power in, to make sure all these same people that are selected to do the work, they will not use them to swear that you are be given this gun. You should not go and use it to do things that you were not sent, so that the ancestors will take over everywhere. Because when you look at the message of that DSS, it said everybody should go and solve his problem. So with the Benin, with the Edo State, we should still also beg the governor so that he will coaliate with the palace and make sure most of all these nuisance that we are facing will be eroded. We are facing a lot of problems.
Thank you.
Even the politicians, instead of them to talk truth, they will lie against you, go to the police station. The same thing, everybody, not that we are all suffering. We are just punishing ourselves because of the misconduct of management.
So you're saying they should go traditionally, invite
Yes,
them, take the oath and go and do your job.
Yeah, because
Rather than doing profiling thing.
Yes,
Just
right
swear
now.
if you fall short, it takes care of you.
Right now, if you are among the vigilante, that you are passed through your training, and you are Benin man, Awushi, Ishan, and everybody, they are all Benin, we are all Edo State, and we are afraid of our ancestors. We are afraid. Because no one wants to be up. You want to go and swear Ogun, but you first of all, God forbid. So we should bring that fear. It's also show as a discipline to every body.
Thank you so much, Charles. Well, let's get to hear from Honorable Fred. Fred, your last line on this discussion. What do you think should be done briefly?
Okay, thank you so much once again. I want to say that Nigeria is not the highest producer of beef. The United States is the highest producer of beef, followed by Brazil, which is actually the largest exporter of beef. But there are no killings there. There are no insurgents regarding all those things. But let me say this, solution and way forward. I will align myself with the person that talks about the tradition. I will, because to help ourselves, since we do not have access to all the opportunity to carry weapons, the only weapon that I think we can carry now is our ancestor. The Oba of Benin, the Oba of Edo, is the Oba of Edo Kingdom. He should intervene by helping the governor to ensure that some members of the vigilantes, whom we are afraid of, that when you empower them with weapons, they are even going to go the other way around. Everybody should be made to, swear to an oath that this weapon we are giving you, you are not going to use it against the people, and you are not going to use it indiscriminately, so that there will be peace on the land. And again, on my last word, you see, if we have to do anything now, we need to do it very fast. The Oba of Benin, Oba Atokwe, said, I appeal to you. The land is bleeding. Please intervene, help the governor, so that we can get rid of criminal elements. They should go and operate elsewhere, maybe outside of this country, not here in Edo State. Because where we are now, nobody sleeps again. And you know what that means? Apart from the lack of food that will come, our health is affected because nobody sleeps at night again if you are able to even sleep in your community. If you are traveling, even like 50 kilometers is too much. If you are traveling 30 kilometers, you will not be sure that you will not be kidnapped in any part of this state and any part of the country.
All right,
so I appeal to the Oba of Benin and to the governor to be able to meet and be on the round table and change a different system.
Thank you so
that
much,
we can set
Honorable
an
Fred.
example
Thank you.
for this country.
Thank you,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you. All right, thank you so much. He's saying we should go to the ancestors also to bring the vigilante to, like, swear an oath. You don't call it a boy. You know what a boy is? That is to go swear. Interesting. Well, let's get to hear from Ahmed Mamodu. Ahmed, over now to you. Can you please unmute yourself?
My apologies. I think I'm going to go with a hybrid of what my co-panelists have said. Let's talk to the ancestors. Let's ask the Oba of Benin, and etc., etc. But more fundamentally, we have to recognize that statistically, most crime is local. But we've come to the point where we've created a boogeyman that is responsible for any number of amorphous crimes, and then the crime goes unsolved. A lot of the panelists have been talking about the Fulani headsman. So by definition, a Fulani headsman is carrying cows. How do you carry cows, go and commit crimes, and then escape, and the cows too escape? So this story is not adding up completely. Most crimes are local. What that means is that there's a local element. There are people who aid and abet from within those localities. And when they say it's Fulani headsmen that come from afar, you allow the culprits that have committed the crimes to go scot-free. So we need a robust system of engagement where not just the locals are involved, but there's a channel by which they can communicate. Look, we suspect XYZ and Z person because XYZ is going on, blah, 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 blah. And this is going to allow the traditional rulers in particular. That's why I said we'll talk about a hybrid. The traditional rulers, the local community leaders, the youth leaders, everybody has to buy in. Everybody has to feel like it's a part of it. And it has to be spearheaded by not just the DSS, but the security agencies themselves, the police, the army, the navy. Everybody has to come in together and say, look, it is okay for you to do X, Y, Z, and the law is on your side if these are the things you are doing. Until we have those kind of robust discussions, I'm afraid we are going to be dancing around in circles.
Thank you so much. You said it's a hybrid. All hands must be on deck for us to feel safe. Go to the West. They are doing so well because they combined all factors. African science, European science. They combined everything, and it is not as much as it is down here because they are giving it back to them. So it's like, a fight, so to speak, between these bandits and a Moteco Corps. You go to the East, yes, they've learned something also. They'll be able to empower their Eastern comrade to go out there to keep the environment safe. African science, American science, London science, everything combined, the ancestors, they are giving it guns and bows. You understand it? Even they're beginning to get up, say, look, this is getting out of hand. JTF, we have to arm them, everyone, even, I saw a video where a lady a young school girl was taught how to, operate a gun just to defend themselves. Of course, license. Say, look, it has got into that. The DSS boss said it, but how are we going to do it? How? And of course, Charles said, look, for you to really get these guys working, take them to our monarch, let them so that they won't use the gun for something negative. After doing the oath or whatever, the baffling aspect of it, those kind of things, that you send them to these communities to help us out. What do you feel about it? Because really it's getting annoying, it's getting disturbing, it's getting scary, it's getting exasperating. What should we do? Everyone hand will be on deck. You see something? Say something, do something.